take it from me, man. Take it from me. For every guy walking around out here, there is that one woman he will not play about. If you know deep down that that's just not you, the earlier you pack it up, the better. Y'all stay safe, man.
Woo! Some of y'all women gonna get mad at me today, so if you can't take constructive criticism, baby, keep on scrolling. Many of you women are not really what you think you're cracked up to be. Like, some of y'all are really not great people to be in relationships with. Y'all know I work with couples every single day, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a list of everything that I have to work through. First things first, quit coming into relationships trying to make a man secure your insecurities. That's your job. If you lack confidence, if you have low self-esteem, if there's still trauma that you're operating in, if you're self-critical, if you're judgmental when it comes to yourself, if you blame yourself, if you're still operating in guilt and trauma and everything else, baby, that's for you to handle, not him. Respect his space. Like, stop becoming so preoccupied and hyper aware of what a man has going on. As soon as you see his mood is off a little bit, you start becoming overwhelming. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Let me tell you how men are. A lot of men, when they are going through stuff, they may end up withdrawing or retreating because they're trying to figure it out. They're not always upset at you. Their moods are not changing just because of you. People go through things in a way that men are. They don't express themselves as much as we do as women. It's okay. Give that man some space. Oh yeah, the clinginess. Clinginess is cute to an extent, baby, but once you become codependent and you're always getting jealous whenever this person goes out, and you become anxious whenever they're not around you, you start blowing up their phones or they gonna hang out with their friends, that is problematic, and you're gonna push him away. As much as many of you all don't want to believe it, it's absolutely okay for a man to admire another woman. As long as it is a quick look, boom, and he's not staring and he doesn't have a wandering eye and he's not impulsive and he's not a cheater. If he's all of those, baby, why are you with him in the first place? You're ignoring the red flags. You're settling. As long as that man is not window shopping or ordering off of the menu, relax. He has a visual appetite. If he sees a beautiful woman, it's okay to admire. Just like if you see a handsome man, you're going to admire him too. Relax. Stop letting yourself go. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you need to stop doing everything that you did in the beginning. If you always kept your skin together, your nails together, your lashes together, your hair done, your body was waxed up at the beginning, keep that same energy. Hold your end of the relationship. Remember, visual. A man still has a visual appetite and he loves what he sees, baby, because you're going to stimulate a whole lot more in him. Don't let yourself go because you secured the relationship. As much as you want to believe it, you're not always right. As much as you want to always be in control, you have to let some things go, baby. You cannot love a man the way you want to love him. If you study him, if you pay attention, if you actually listen, I guarantee you he would tell you how to love him. You cannot limit the way you love him to a love language. That's why I hate the conversation of love languages. You can ask a man, what's your favorite love language? And he can say, oh, acts of service. And you think that's all you have to do to love him? No, baby, you got to study your man. Stop nagging him all the time. It's perfect. Okay, quit always expressing your dissatisfactions. If you see he's putting in efforts in other places, please uplift those efforts. Acknowledge him. Show that you appreciate that. If it's something like a pet peeve, baby, compromise. I know a lot of women have a hard time compromising. Baby, you got to find a middle ground. Sometimes it's just not worth you bringing up a dissatisfaction. A lot of you all just be nagging. You're pushing that man away. It's okay. He's not always going to fit your idea. He's not always going to satisfy you in every area. Baby, I promise you, every trait that you may have on your beautiful checkoff list, he may not measure up to every single one of them. That's why you have to be selective. But stop nagging all the time. You can't read minds and you can't predict the future. So stop trying to interpret things and stop trying to jump to conclusions. Baby, it's not healthy. It's a distorted way of thinking and it will kill your relationship. Being independent is okay, but why do you have to be so independent that you're unreceptive? Men love to be needed. If you're so independent that you won't even allow him to help, what is he there for? Stop involving everybody in your relationship. I don't care if it's friends or family. They have no place to be in your relationship. So stop involving them. Their opinions do not matter. Their advice does not matter. They are not the person that you were sleeping with. Relax. You think you're doing something when you're comparing your man to everybody else. You're comparing your man to your best friend's husband, and yada, yada, yada. And now he's pretending to be something that he's not. That's very uncomfortable for a man. Baby, constructive criticism and destructive criticism are real things. If you're always criticizing, you're going to push him away and he's going to end up faking things, and that's going to make him unhappy, and then the intimacy is going to decline. And whose fault is that going to be? Yeah, because you were comparing. Many of you ladies are not the inspiration that you think that you are. I'm sorry to break it to you. If you're always operating in your comfort zone and you refuse to take risks and you lack intellectual intimacy, you don't go out there and try to learn new things, baby, you're not reaching new opportunities, you're always low in your confidence, you're not really inspiring this person. If this person is trying to grow, and you want to stay and you want to be on social media or on your phone and everybody else's business, and you're not really doing anything to add to his fruition, baby, eventually he's going to grow without you. Pessimism. Stop being negative all the time. Communication. Learn to listen. Validate their experiences. Don't interrupt. You know what? The list can go on. Just work on your communication, baby, okay? Now, I know some of y'all gonna get to the end of this video and be like, Look, if you want a healthier relationship, start taking criticism. Take each piece if it applies and let it apply. If it doesn't, then go on about your business. But if you want a healthier relationship, if you're dating, if you're a girlfriend, if you're a wife, whatever it may be, you want a healthy relationship, baby, take the criticism as constructive. Take it as a learning tool. Use it and change.
Okay, so I really wish there was a cure. Unfortunately, there's not. Moving from an anxious attachment to a more secure one takes a lot of hard work. There's no quick fix. There's no one thing that works for everybody. Everyone's different, and there's different things that may or may not work for you. For me, some things that have been helpful have been therapy, talking to somebody who is wiser than I am and who can give me a different perspective. Yoga, releasing my emotions out of my body through movement. Painting, same sort of thing, getting emotions out. Any sort of movement or a creative thing can be really helpful. A certain type of therapy called DBT is really helpful. It teaches you how to manage big emotions. Then some other deeper inner work, like healing your inner child, looking back at when you were a certain age where you felt your attachment style break, where like a caregiver wasn't there for you or some sort of trauma happened in your life, going back and telling that little version of yourself that they're safe, healing your inner child, and learning coping strategies like go on a walk or things like that that may sound silly, but basically when your attachment style is triggered, you need to get yourself out of that headspace. Like maybe sit in it for a second, let yourself feel your feelings, but in the end you have to pull yourself out before you react and before you let all those big emotions bubble over, because that's when this attachment style becomes a problem. It's not that anxious attachment style is bad, it's that sometimes it's just not helpful. I hope this helps. I wish I had more answers. I'm still learning it myself, but you can absolutely move from an anxious style to a more secure one, especially if you find a partner who's secure. They can help you in so many ways see what a relationship is supposed to look like and what a secure attachment looks like, but it is a practice. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, but there's nothing wrong with you. You're whole and you are amazing and you are beautiful just the way that you are. So please don't see any attachment style as bad. We can just work to be more secure.
As a relationship therapist, here are 4 things I would never do to my partner. 1, give them the silent treatment. Because first of all, that can be incredibly triggering to people that had parents who punished them that way. It can be traumatizing. And second, because it's childish and mean and is meant to create anxiety. I hate it. 2, tell them why my ex was better than them, because that's just unnecessarily messed up. And what is the point of this? You're opening up a can of worms where your sweetie is going to constantly think that you're comparing them to your last partner all the time. If you have to do that, which you shouldn't, keep it to yourself. 3, teasing them or putting them down on a regular basis. Light teasing can be okay if you're both consenting to it, but if making your partner feel bad about themselves is the primary way you show your love, it's gonna backfire one day when they start feeling pretty insecure about themselves. 4, saying things like, you're always like this, or you never do that. Words like always and never always make someone defensive. It's never a good way to start a conversation. Trust me, and 99% of the time, it's just not true that they always or never do something.
A relationship, a deep relationship, at some point will actually become your worst nightmare, right? Like Harville and Helen Hendricks said this. And on face value, it's like, wait a minute, like really? But yes, you know, like my partner has an abandonment wound. She's written about it a lot. She's talked about it a lot. And so her worst fear is that I'm going to abandon her. And I have not physically abandoned her. But there have been many times where I have abandoned her energetically, emotionally. I have not shown up for her in a way that she felt seen and heard. She was asking for one thing and I gave her another, just out of my own ignorance. We talked recently on an episode that we recorded where I bought her a gift for Christmas, which was the exact thing she didn't want. That's abandonment as well, in a sense. Like, you're in relationship with me, but what you want doesn't matter. I'm actually going to give you the thing you don't want. Like that's a type of abandonment. For her in those moments, our relationship becomes her worst nightmare.